Centuries prior to the establishment of the Jedi and Sith orders, the idea of a lightsaber was one that was not even touched upon, as at the time, the popular weapons for Force wielders were Force-imbued swords that could channel the Force through them and were therefore strengthened because of it. In unique cases, extremely rare weapons would have energy crystals placed on the hilts of the swords to help channel the Force into the actual blade more efficiently. At the time, among swords and staffs imbued with the Force, a lightsaber was nowhere to be found. The construction of the very first lightsaber was on the planet known as Tython, where both the Jedi Order as well as the Dark Jedi Order would originate. During this period on Tython, there was relative peace, as the Force wielders who called the planet home found balance between the light and dark side of the Force, essentially being Grey Jedi. If one ever fell out of balance on Tython, they would be exiled until again finding both the dark side of the Force and yet the light within themselves. It was during this dawn of the Jedi Order that the first ever lightsaber was created. Not much is known about the individual who created the first lightsaber prototype. All that we truly know is that he was the weapons master of Tython. This weapons master had grown bored with the more conventional swords and wanted to create a weapon far superior that was a staple of the Jedi Order. The weapons master used the dark side of the Force to grow crystals within his lab that were dark in coloration. He would then use the crystals to release the dark energy within them, creating a blade and freezing it in place, almost like a blaster bolt. What this meant is that essentially, the first lightsabers were powered by dark crystals that had been imbued with the dark side of the Force and emitted a beam of energy, just like a blaster bolt being fired would. Instead, the weapons master determined that he could freeze the bolt in place, and it would create a solid blade that could be turned on and off. Quote, according to the holocrons, the earliest lightsabers were crude devices that utilized an experimental frozen blaster technology to create an energy beam of fixed length. Despite its initial creation though, the lightsaber was still an extremely rare weapon that Jedi or Dark Jedi alike rarely used, as for the next several decades they stuck with their use of Force-altered weapons, these weapons still including the likes of swords and staffs. In truth, many Jedi were afraid to use a lightsaber as it was constructed using the dark side of the Force and dark crystals, and the Jedi feared that even by touching it, they risked turning to the dark side. This belief, however, would not remain. It was in the next generation that the Jedi truly mastered the lightsaber. As opposed to freezing a beam of dark side energy, they decided to create a loop of energy for the blade, which led to much better results in future attempts of creating a lightsaber. However, the weapon drained energy extremely quickly, and required the constant connection of a battery pack that had to be worn on a utilizer's waist and could cause many problems during combat. These archaic lightsabers were barely portable. Their energy requirements necessitated a flexible cable that connected a lightsaber's handle to a power pack worn on a Jedi's belt. Eventually, the lightsaber that we know today would be built by the combined refinement and effort of both the Jedi as well as the Sith Order, as they would both come together to use the weapon. A lightsaber is an interesting weapon, a blade unique in the history of warfare, a paradox, not unlike the Jedi who wield it, those peaceful warriors who kill in the service of life. Have you ever noticed the blade is round, it has no edge, but it is a lightsaber, which means it is nothing but edge. There is no part of this blade that does not cut. Curious, yes. Symbolic, one might say. But that is how the first ever lightsaber was constructed by an ancient Jedi master. Leave your thoughts on this in the comments below and tell me which lightsaber is your all-time. Thank you guys as always so much for watching. May the Force be with you and have a great day.